Tonight, a break at the pumps this summer.
It's temporary, so I'm glad to accept it. I'm happy to have any saving I can get.
The federal government suspends the federal excise tax on gasoline and diesel, easing the burden for drivers until Labor Day. More pushback against Alto high-speed rail as the project gets personal for some area farmers.
I'm not against progress, but progress that creates more destruction, it's not progress.
Letters going out asking for permission to do testing on farm soil in eastern Ontario. 2 Hawkesbury area farmers share their fears. And the question of the day, did you feel it?
We have about 2,000 felt reports on our website so far.
Numerous reports of startled residents and items shaking on walls after an earthquake measuring 3.9 hits north of Shawville. Good evening. We begin tonight with Prime Minister Mark Carney's first move after securing a majority government last night. The Liberals swept all 3 by-elections, and today they announced a plan to suspend the federal gas tax on gas, diesel and aviation fuel, which will lower prices at the pumps for Canadians across the country. The tax holiday will begin this coming Monday, April 20th, and last until Labor Day on September 7th. Gas prices are expected to drop up to 10 cents a litre and 4 cents for diesel. CTV's Katie Griffin is here with more. Katie.
Patricia, this is relief many drivers have been hoping for, but it comes at an estimated cost of $2.4 billion. Again, the temporary measure will be in place all summer until Labor Day. The price of the pumps has jumped more than 50 cents a litre since late February because of the war in Iran. Making the announcement today, the Prime Minister said the move will help Canadians through the short-term pain.
Today's cut to the fuel excise tax is a responsible temporary measure consistent with what it takes to build a stronger economy, a more affordable economy, combined with sound fiscal management.
Drivers in Ottawa say they'll take any savings they can get.
We're running a business like this with multiple trucks, so being able to save 10 cents per litre, per truck, per fill-up, it accumulates pretty quick.
I don't know in the end if that's really good for the economy or not, but it's temporary, so I'm glad to accept it. I'm happy to have any saving I can get.
It's a good news, you know. I hope it doesn't continue, you know, like more than 10 cents.
So drivers overall are happy. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says the measure isn't enough.
He will only be suspending a third of the federal taxes for a third of the year. Not good enough. Canadians cannot afford to gas their tanks.
Poilievre presented an opposition motion today calling for the federal government to eliminate the fuel tax, GST on fuel, and clean fuel charge until the end of the year. Now, this is the week we're also expecting to switch from winter to summer gas, which experts say adds about 7 cents a litre to the cost. So with the 10-cent cut, it's really only about 3 cents in savings. Patricia?
All right, CTV's Katie Griffin live for us tonight. Thank you. Meantime, residents in Eastern Ontario are pushing back against a major federal project. Many landowners are getting letters from Alto asking for permission to enter their properties as part of plans to build a high-speed rail line. But some are furious, declining access and organizing to stop the project in its tracks. Alto is exploring 2 possible routes connecting Toronto and Quebec City, with stops in several cities, including Ottawa and Montreal. CTV's Dylan Dyson was out speaking with farmers today and joins us with more. Dylan.
Yeah, Patricia, farm and landowners between here and Montreal began receiving letters from Alto late last week asking for permission to come onto their properties to do land surveys. Landowners I spoke with today were strongly opposed to this, but many wonder if their choice to say no will even matter.
Alto is proposing to run their train in this area somewhere.
In rural Eastern Ontario, situated between Ottawa and Montreal, Shane Kirby has called this farm home for 5 generations.
They've asked for 3 years to enter the property. I don't agree with this. This angers me a lot.
But after receiving a letter from Alto over the weekend asking to inspect his land, he's worried his farm could be expropriated for a high-speed rail line.
I was initially very worried that I could be potentially affected, and now that I've received the permission to enter for soil samples, I believe I will be affected.
Alto has proposed plans to connect Toronto to Quebec City by high-speed rail, with the first leg being built between Ottawa and Montreal. The opposition group Alto says dozens of landowners across eastern Quebec and Ontario have received requests to survey their land.
Told them they were not welcome on the property, not now, and not in the future as well.
In a statement to CTV News, Alto said participation in the land surveys is voluntary, with participants receiving financial compensation, and that no field studies would be conducted without consent from owners. Alto adds that receiving the request does not necessarily mean landowners' property will need to be acquired for the project, nor that the future train will run near it. Dairy farmer Kevin Hammond operates 2 farms and also received a letter from Alto last week offering $1,500 for access to inspect his land.
We've received it both on our Quebec side and on our Ontario side. In my eyes, there's no amount of money worth this project for us, so we're not entertaining the idea at any point in time.
These farmers worry that high-speed rail would permanently disrupt their livelihoods and way of life.
We're not anti-progression, let's try and do this smart.
Now, these farmers note that there is no place on the letters from Alto to object to the land surveys. They say they have contacted lawyers to determine the best way to keep Alto's high-speed rail project off of their property. Patricia.
All right, CTV's Dylan Dyson live for us tonight. Thank you. Thousands of residents across the region stopped in their tracks this afternoon when the earth trembled as an earthquake struck the area. No damage reported, but still a scary incident for some who say their houses shook. CTV's Austin Lee joins us with more on this. Austin.
Yeah, Patricia, this was a 3.9 magnitude earthquake, and the epicenter was right around here, about 20 kilometers northeast of Shawville, Quebec, but vibrations were reported as far as Toronto and Montreal. This video coming to us from viewer Shannon Charbonneau in Bryson, Quebec. Footage shows the inside of a garage. At the moment that 3.9 magnitude earthquake struck in that part of western Quebec. The camera is shaking in this video for about 30 seconds. Meantime, in Shawville,
I was in a sugar camp with my partner. Big bang. No rumble, no nothing, just a big bang. We thought maybe a branch had fallen on the shack.
So we all stopped and we all started looking at each other wondering, okay, well, what do we do? And then we were wondering, okay, well, is there going to be some aftershocks? Like, how big is this? How long is it going to last? But afterwards, everything kind of calmed down and we went back to regular work.
So far, the Canadian Hazards Information Service says it has received about 2,000 reports from people who say they felt the quake, and some in Fitzroy Harbour say it came as a shock.
You could definitely feel, the only way I can describe it as a buzz in the ground.
A little bit of trembling. Shook the house, obviously, like a train rumbling through or whatever. Yeah.
Were you surprised?
Oh, absolutely.
I thought it was maybe some blasting. Found out since it was an earthquake.
Now, in this video, you can see the moments that the earthquake shook in Clarendon, Quebec. That's about 5 to 6 kilometers away from the epicenter. Experts say damage is generally not reported unless an earthquake is around a magnitude 5 or stronger.
We are part of the Western Quebec seismic zone. It's a moderately active seismic zone. We might have about a dozen felt earthquakes every year. And on the decadal scale, we'll get something potentially damaging. And the last one in this area would have been in 2010. In Shawville, it was 2013.
And Boucher says people should take cover under a solid surface, such as a table, and hold on if you feel an earthquake of any size. Now, there is also an early warning network in our region. At a magnitude 5, people would be sent an alert on their phones telling them to take cover. Patricia.
It is never a good feeling. All right, CTV's Austin Lee live for us tonight. Thank you. Still ahead, no family doctor. The Queensway Carleton helping to provide the next best thing for babies whose parents can't find a pediatrician or GP. That story coming up. Well, a warning tonight to homeowners in eastern Ontario about possible flooding in areas along the Ottawa River. The Ministry of Natural Resources issuing a flood warning for the Ottawa River from Pembroke to Arnprior. That is upgraded from a flood watch. Water levels are expected to rise significantly later this week. Residents who are in flood-prone areas are urged to take the necessary precautions to protect their properties. As we take a live look through our Centennial Glass sky cam, 6 degrees out there right now. We saw quite a bit of rain through the day tomorrow, and Jackie is monitoring the weather at TD Place, where Game 3 of the second round of the 67s playoffs is getting underway tonight, and some more rain on the way as well, Jackie.
Yeah, that's right, Patricia. The doors have opened. We've got some fans here ready to cheer on the Ottawa 67s tonight. They're really excited to be here as well. That's the sound we want to hear. We love that. But really, we want to talk about the rainfall moving through, all right? So the rainfall, it has paused for this evening. That's the good news. Mainly cloudy skies. There's still time to head down to the game. Puck drop is at 7 o'clock. Now, the region's seeing between 10 to 15 millimeters of rainfall. Some areas could have seen more. Most of the system has moved out of the region. Cloudy skies expected for the rest of the night. And you can see that part of the region is expecting another round to move through in the morning. Most of it will focus around the Kingston and Brockville area. But temperature-wise, we are trending on the warmer side. That's the good news. We're going to see daytime highs about 11 to 12 degrees by later afternoon. But keep in mind, you want that umbrella for the early part of the morning. Now, parts across the region, temperature-wise, 6-7 degrees, 15 degrees, though, in Kingston. We'll get a closer look at your long-term forecast in just a bit because, like we said, more rain is on the way for the rest of the week. But the folks here really excited to cheer on the Ottawa 67s. Game 3. We will take it back to you in studio for now. Patricia.
Looks like a great crowd, Jackie. Thank you. Well, the 3 by-election wins giving the Liberals a majority government are also highlighting sliding support for the Conservatives. CTV's Rachel Aiello has more on the political fallout.
After scoring an electoral hat trick, Prime Minister Mark Carney hit the ice today, recharged. Not the case for Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, who, after being dealt double-digit defeats in all 3 by-elections, felt compelled to assert he's not going anywhere.
I will continue to lead that fight in this House, across this country, and in the next election.
The Conservatives' vote share shrunk by more than 10% in all 3 ridings, even dropping to 3rd place in the downtown Toronto race.
I think for the Conservatives, the message that they should be receiving last night is whatever their strategy was doesn't work.
While Conservatives say these 3 ridings were not Poilievre's to win, they know the downward trend isn't a good sign for the party.
It leaves them in a less, well, let's say a weakened position relative to where they, have been.
If you were Mr. Poilievre, would you quit today?
I don't. That's an unfair question. I can't look into the heart of Mr. Poilievre. I respect him as a parliamentarian, as I do the other leaders of the other parties.
In closely watched Terrebonne, the Conservative decline boosted both Bloc Québécois and Liberal votes.
We lost because they had more votes than we did.
It was a slightly better night for the NDP, while support for Avi Lewis's party slipped in Quebec. Their vote share was up in both Ontario ridings, including University Rosedale, where the NDP candidate placed second.
I think that it's a massive opportunity for the NDP under Avi to say, if you want the government to worry about regular folks, we're the party to do that.
A Carney majority does give the opposition parties more time to improve their political fortunes. But if any more Conservative MPs cross the floor to the Liberals, the fate of Poilievre's political future may rest with his caucus, who today said they still support him. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
And joining us now to talk more about the results and what they could mean for Pierre Poilievre's future is CTV's chief political correspondent, Vassy Kapelos. Vassy, after a by-election night that felt more like an election night, I'm sure, in terms of energy. Long day for you yesterday. Thank you for being here. But let's talk about where we're at. A majority government now, the likelihood of no election call until 2029. Lots of time for the Conservatives to figure out their strategy. Where does that put them? And what is the likelihood that Pierre Poilievre is still the leader of the opposition when that time comes?
Well, I think the short answer is, Patricia, it depends on what happens next. A couple of things. I think that yes, it's very true that the Liberals were able to secure a majority through these by-elections and the floor crossings, the combination of those 2 things. But it's a really slim majority, right? 174 seats. There are at least 3 members of parliament right now who might be leaving for different reasons in the next little while, which could put them right back at 171. Obviously, that means that they're aware of that, and they are talking to more people. They're saying it right out in the open now. They're talking to 7, 8, at least a handful of other members of Parliament from other parties about crossing over to the Liberals. They certainly want a more secure majority, and they think that that is the pathway to it. So the question then for the Conservatives becomes, do those MPs, if they do cross the floor, come from the Conservatives to the Liberals? I think that will better inform questions about the future of Pierre Poilievre and his party under his leadership. Right now, today, he was emphatic in the House of Commons that he is going to lead the party into the next election. But if more caucus members peel off and head to the government, that will raise questions, not only externally, but perhaps most significantly for his hold on leadership internally among his own MPs. Right now, they appear to be fairly supportive of him, other than the ones who have left to go to the Liberals. But how long that lasts, if there are more floor crossers, will depend, I think, on how many more and when that happens.
You are touching on it there, but there has been so much focus up to this point about obtaining that majority government and what it would mean for the Liberals going forward. And now it seems today there's a lot of underlining a very narrow majority. The job isn't done. Is it quite likely that we are going to continue to see these floor crossings and them using that strategy to sort of build up and secure their power?
Well, I'll separate the question into two parts. Is it likely that they continue to employ that strategy to try and buttress the majority, to try and feel more secure in the majority? Yes, it's 100% likely. They're even saying it in interviews all the time that they're engaged in these conversations. Is it likely that that happens? I don't know, is the short answer to that question. And that's because it'll depend on how many more, or if there are more people who cross over to the Liberals. So I think they definitely want to employ this now that the by-elections have cleared. They're at that 174. If you're at 180 or 185, it's a lot less precarious. And it does make a difference. Again, Alexander Boulouris is an NDP MP in Quebec, the only one there. He's probably going to head to provincial politics. Nathaniel Erskine-Smith, if he wins the provincial nomination in Scarborough Southwest, he's going to leave his federal post. And then Jonathan Wilkinson, I am told, is very close to inking a deal for a diplomatic appointment in Europe, and he's an MP out in British Columbia. They are there for, there's 3 more by-elections. They're down 2 seats. They're back to, 172. It's just, it's a lot of back and forth that can take place. Like I said, it's precarious, and so I think they're looking for more stability. Whether they get it is another question.
The interesting times continue. All right, thank you very much for this, Vassy.
My pleasure.
Well, Ottawa police are investigating the second shooting at a home in the Beaconwood Village area this month. Officers were called to Beaconwood Drive near the intersection of Montreal and Ogilvie Roads around 2:30 a.m. They found bullet holes in the home and shell casings on the property. There are no reports of injuries. Police say a shooting also happened at this house on April 2nd. The Guns and Gangs unit is leading the investigation. Anyone who might have video footage of the area is asked to contact police. Ottawa's Jewish community gathered today to mark Holocaust Remembrance Day, honoring the victims of the Holocaust and the survivors and their families who ensure their stories are never forgotten. CTV's Tyler Fleming reports.
Prayer echoes across the National Holocaust Monument in Ottawa as community members gather to mark Holocaust Remembrance Day.
I'm here today to honor family members.
Canadians, Israelis. Here together to honor the 6 million Jews killed in the Holocaust during the Second World War, among officials, dignitaries, and residents, survivors. Like Agnes Klein.
There's a message of kindness.
Sharing her family's story of escape and the strangers who helped them persevere.
We were sheltered. My chief editor of one of the local newspapers sheltered my father. Somebody fronted a business for him so he could make a living. And then we were hidden for 6 months in a village towards the end of the war. I ended up by coming to Canada, and then the rest of my family eventually followed.
Even now, this year's theme, Helping Hand, Then and Now, focused on remembrance, but also responsibility.
Seeing all of the people that are here today that came out in the rain that aren't part of the Jewish community, and they were here to show their support to say we refuse to forget the lessons of the Holocaust and we are going to apply them in our daily lives. I think that's the message of hope.
A candle lighting ceremony focused that message, flames representing lost lives and the importance of carrying memories forward. Leila Stambouli attended with her son Tavi, helping to pass down remembrance.
The power of the ordinary person and ordinary people coming together in the face of challenges.
Leaders also spoke about the importance of standing against hate.
It's that call for action that really has to be heard and acted upon.
For Klein, a living link to history, this event is not only to reflect, it's a reminder that the lessons of the Holocaust must never be forgotten.
My message is that people are people and that you have to consider them for what they are and not discriminate against anybody.
Tyler Fleming, CTV News.
Metrolinx is sending some train parts to Ottawa to help restore LRT service. Mayor Mark Sutcliffe says the transit agency is providing replacement axles for the LRT vehicles, which will help OC Transpo get full service back up and running more quickly. Single car service is expected to continue on Line 1 for at least 6 weeks because of issues with the axles. Well, the sale of yellow garbage bags generated more than $500,000 for the city last year. If households exceed the 3-item garbage limit, they are required to place any extra items in a yellow bag, which the city sells for $17 for a pack of 4. The yellow bags are available for purchase at city recreation facilities and at community centres. We are getting a look tonight at the hotspots for bicycle theft in Ottawa. New data from Ottawa Police shows there were nearly 1,200 bicycles reported stolen across the city last year. That's down from 1,400 in 2024. The top neighborhood for bicycle theft was Centretown, with more than 200 bicycles stolen last year. That's followed by West Centretown with 85, Sandy Hill with 83, and Lower Town at 71. Ontario Provincial Police say a bad joke resulted in officers getting called to a school in Perth this morning. According to police, they arrived at St. John's Catholic High School after some concerning comments were made in a group chat. Police say the officers quickly realized the comments were a poor attempt at humor and there were no safety concerns. An Ottawa senior is fulfilling a dream he's had for much of his life thanks to a special contest at his retirement residence.
One hand.
That is 85-year-old Vincent Pereira and Daisy, the horse. Pereira won horseback riding lessons at the Riverview Stables through a contest at the Wellington West Retirement Home, which asked residents to share their dreams. Pereira had wished to learn horseback riding, and today he had his first lesson.
I grew up in Kenya, East Africa, and horses were not part of my routine as such, but I always admired them from a distance.
Pereira says he is looking forward to the rest of his lessons and is excited to have the chance to learn this new skill.
It was a massive relief, and once the program was kind of explained, it really clicked. It made so much sense.
Still ahead, for newborns, getting the best start in life can mean access to a family physician, and the Queensway Carleton Hospital has an idea for that. Jackie.
Thanks so much, Patricia. Greg Durchuk here. You've got your cowbell, but you also have these wonderful pins. Tell the viewers about these pins.
These pins are every building in the OHL that I've rang my bell in. I'm only missing 2.
All right, let's hear that bell and get the boys ready for tonight's game. That is the energy we are looking for. Let's get a live look through our Centennial Glass Skycam. We're showcasing Lansdowne. You can't hear that bell from here, but if you come on down to TD Place Arena, that's where it is. Current temperature, 6 degrees.
Taking a look at the roads on this Tuesday, things are improving out there at the tail end of the commute. We did see a fair number of collisions earlier on slick afternoon roads. Well, at the Queensway Carleton Hospital, a quiet but impactful pilot project is helping solve a growing problem for new parents who are struggling to find a primary care provider for their newborn. CTV's Leah LaRocque has the details.
At just 3 months old,
Little Charlotte is the center of her parents' world.
And she'll look at you and you're like, oh my God, this is the best thing that we did.
The whole idea of getting to be a parent and watch her grow and develop and become her own little person.
But when Charlotte was born, she didn't have a family doctor willing to take her on.
All the time, I'm just always bouncing.
The Queensway Carleton Hospital connected them with Tracy Zubkov, a nurse spearheading a new pilot project that connects new babies born here with primary care providers.
We knew that there was a possibility that we would be able to have some support in finding a family doctor for Charlotte.
Zubkov meets with doctors across Eastern Ontario who are taking new patients, then matches them with newborns.
I just started compiling lists of areas that were maybe taking patients, and then I started going out and I started meeting doctors' offices. I walked in, cold call, and introduced myself, told them about our program, and begged them to help me.
There are about 2,500 babies who are born here at the Queensway Carleton Hospital every year, and about 800 of them don't have access to a primary care provider at birth.
How is everything going with your physician?
Good. It's great.
But there is no guarantee of funding to keep the pilot project running past June.
I can't believe it's only a pilot, and I can't believe that it could possibly be a risk. That's crazy.
The Ontario Medical Association says 1 in 6 people in the province don't have family doctors, and getting babies care as early as possible can ease a healthcare system under pressure.
We need more, innovation, more funding and investment into these types of programs. There's fewer gaps in care.
Little Charlotte has already had appointments and is thriving.
To say something. Thank you, Tracy.
Letting these new parents enjoy every precious moment together.
Growing well. She's always in a happy mood. She clearly loves the camera.
Leah LaRocque, CTV News.
Superstar. Well, another rainy day in the capital today and similar weather in store for the rest of the week. All of this rain prompting a flood warning for part of the region. Officials are warning residents in flood-prone areas along the Ottawa River between Pembroke and Arnprior to take necessary precautions to protect their properties. We want to go back to Jackie now at the arena at TD Place for a full check on the forecast. And Jackie, lots of splashes of red at TD Place tonight.
Yes, somebody donated this 67's belt to me as we get ready for puck drop at 7 o'clock. The good news is the rain has stopped for the evening, so we're anticipating more people making their way down here to TD Place Arena for Game 3 of the 67s and the Barrie Colts taking place tonight. Now, right now, temperature is 6 degrees, daytime high about 11. Sunset scheduled for about 7:48 this evening. Tonight's lows across Eastern Ontario hovering around 5, 6, even 7 degrees, so it's still fairly warm for this overnight, and we are trending warmer because look at tomorrow. Double-digit temperatures once again, 11 for Ottawa, Cornwall, Brockville, 12 degrees, about 15 in Kingston and Pembroke, as well as Mont-Tremblant. And you did notice the icons showcasing a little bit of rain moving through. Some parts could see a risk of thunderstorm as well. This is going to be likely along the Seaway, and it's going to take place in the morning as well. More on that in just a bit. But right now, temperatures across Canada, 8 degrees in Halifax, 11 in Fredericton. Things are pretty cool in Thunder Bay and Timmins, where temperatures are around 3 or 4 degrees. Warm in Windsor, though, at 22 degrees. It's sunshine and 20 degrees in Toronto. As we look to Winnipeg, 7 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. Calgary sitting around 11 degrees and Edmonton at 5. So double-digit temperatures for many parts of Ontario. When we talk about the conditions for tomorrow, we are anticipating some rain in the morning, but most of Wednesday, mainly cloudy skies. It's Thursday, though, that we're going to get another round of some heavy systems moving through that could bring with it more rainfall, heavier rainfall. And if you look around the Renfrew, Pembroke, and Maniwaki area, this could be more heavier thunderstorms. So we are keeping a very close eye on this for our Thursday. By the end of it, we could see between 50 to 80 millimeters of rain in total from this week alone. Now, today's forecast is brought to you by Davidson Hearing Aid Center. Join them at this 55 Plus show. Join the Hearing Aid Centers celebrating 80 years in family business. Now, 7-day forecast, 11 degrees for our Wednesday. 21 for Thursday, so it's going to be pretty warm. Friday, maintaining 18-degree temperature. Saturday, 18 as well. But temperatures are going to start to dip back to single digits by the time Sunday rolls around. 8 degrees. Monday, 4 degrees as well. And again, that's it for here for now. We are going to be talking to this guy, Kenny Wells from TSN 1200. Kenny, you excited for today?
Just a little bit.
We will be teasing this for you, Patricia, and the folks at home in just a bit. But for now, we're going to take it back to you in studio.
Kenny needs to be on TV. Looks so good. I love it. Thanks, Jackie.
I'll let him know. I will let him know. Thanks.
We've got 93 brand new aircraft on order. And the last time we came out with a new interior was about 10 years ago.
Well, coming up, Air Canada with a new cabin design to make air travel more relaxing. But what is the cost of added comfort? Our popular Team of the Week segment is back. If you want to be a part of our Myers Automotive Group Team of the Week, upload your video to ctvnewsottawa.ca. Now, some other stories you need to know right now. The province is planning an expansion of prisons over the coming decades in an effort to deal with overcrowding. Ontario's jails have been over capacity for years. Documents obtained by University of Ottawa researchers through a Freedom of Information request show the province plans to add nearly 6,000 jail beds by 2050. Ontario Solicitor General Michael Kersner announced some details on the expansion plan last year. City crews will soon start repainting road lines that faded or disappeared over the winter. Staff say the pavement marking operations will begin on May 4th once the street sweeping is complete. Road paint is typically refreshed once a year, but busy intersections could be repainted a couple of times. We want to go back to Jackie now at the arena at TD Place to get us set for this big Game 3 tonight, Jackie.
Yes, lots of excitement, Patricia, and ask and you will receive. Kenny Walls, the hype man, the play-by-play for the 67s. How are you doing? You've been following this team through this journey, and I mean, we're here, Game 3.
Yeah, it's been a fun trip so far. Got a little bit of time in Barrie. The results weren't there, but they were able to come back home now, and hoping for a good crowd and a good result here today.
Yeah, I'm already feeling the energy. We've seen the cowbells, we've seen the jerseys, the posters. We're seeing this print. Do you want to talk about the encouragement that you're hoping to inspire?
I don't really have anything to this. I just said it on TSN 1200 this morning, and then I have to follow through with it.
Well, this place is all about tradition, and I love the more that we attend these games, we hear about this. Just speak quickly about the bleached hair. I know the players on the team have done this for the playoff rounds, but as well for yourself, you have joined in on the fun.
Well, when the guys ask you to do it, you can't say no. So it's really the first time that they've done it since we're in about 20 years, where they've gone bleached hair. They've had some other traditions in the past, but the bleached hair is returned, and the guys asked me to do it, so okay, sure, why not?
I appreciate it. I know you got to get up there, get ready for the game, so thank you for taking the time.
Thanks, Jackie.
All right, bye, Kenny. Bye. Again, we talk about traditions. One of the other traditions, it's all about For the X, and I mean, you're going to hear that a lot, and this tradition started 2018-19. They put an X for every victory on the board, and now since it's been the 5th season or 5th year that they've been doing this, so we continue to say For the X. So go get them, boys. We'll take it back to you in studio.
For the X and for Boal, so she doesn't have to wear that Barrie Colts jersey at the end of this series. Jackie, thanks so much.
Exactly.
The powers of the trustees and the English boards, the English Catholic and public boards, have been greatly reduced as a result of the bill.
Well, just ahead, we speak with Ontario Education Minister Paul Calandra about the sweeping changes coming to school boards across the province, including Ottawa's largest board.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Well, the province plans to overhaul the way school boards operate across Ontario. There will still be trustees, but their ability to make changes will be very limited. Instead, much of the responsibility will fall to two individuals. A CEO will be in charge of the school's budget, and a chief education officer will oversee student achievement. This means trustees will be coming back to the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board, but it will remain under provincial supervision, sparking questions about what role they will actually play. In the interim, and joining us now to discuss these changes is Ontario Education Minister Paul Calandra. Minister, thank you for being here. Why did you ultimately decide to keep school board trustees?
Yeah, a great question. In part, it was to have some consistency in the system. As I had said almost about a year ago, I had been contemplating changes, but I didn't want to do anything that opened up the charter or constitutional rights guaranteed the French and the Catholic system. So there was always going to be trustees in those two systems. So it seemed a bit unfair, despite where I wanted to go, it seemed a bit unfair to have just the English public without trustees and the other two systems retaining their trustees. So that's why I've made that decision. But obviously, the powers of the trustees in the English boards, the English Catholic and public boards, have been greatly reduced as a result of the bill.
Well, let's talk about a little bit of that. And as well, they will have a salary cap, meaning they might actually have to pay out of pocket for their election campaigns. Are you worried about limiting who will be able to afford to run? Is that a concern?
No, I mean, they can still do fundraising for their campaigns. We haven't taken that away. They will have a salary cap as trustees to a maximum of $10,000 honorarium. In order to do that. Where we are saying is that any outside fees that previously the board would have been paying for association fees, we found in a number of boards, millions of dollars were going out of the education system to pay for any kinds of fees. The school board trustee association fees, the land surveyor fees, really awkward type of fees that we've been finding. And so we're saying, look, if you want to contribute to those types of associations, you can do so on your own. But dollars meant to be in education will be spent in education.
Some parents still don't like this. They're concerned about trustees losing their decision-making power. How do you respond to parents?
Look, it's just the opposite. We'll have a CEO who will be responsible, as you said, for the financial operations of a board, human resources, the capital programs, and budgeting. We'll have a chief education officer who will be in charge of academic achievement. Trustees will still have a role to play in terms of advocating for their community and parents at the board. But what we've done is reduce or eliminate much of the division that was brought on by trustees. Look, Ottawa is a prime example of how trustees can sow division within a community. And since supervision has taken place, the Student Family Resource Office in Ottawa has been doing a great job of responding to parents' needs and addressing their concerns, as have the superintendents and teachers on the board. So I think we've struck a really good balance here to have a system that is really just fully focused on student achievement.
So you like the way things are going at the OCDSB under supervision. You have said that it will continue until the budget is balanced. How long will that take? Will it still be under supervision as kids go back to school in September?
Well, absolutely will be. And budget is balanced until it's back on track, until the reserves are at a point that they can be run in a sustainable way. And that is unlikely to change, frankly, before the election of new trustees this September, or excuse me, this October. So the board will still be under supervision for some time yet.
Some of the current trustees say they're not going to want to run again, given the new rules. Are you okay with that outcome if it's a whole new group?
Yeah, look, I am. I'm certain that in a city the size of Ottawa, over 1 million people in Ottawa, that there are people that are going to want to put their name forward to be trustees. If we don't fill the positions because the board remains under supervision, then the Act allows us to allows the board to either fill those positions by appointment or to have a by-election to fill the seats. So I'm not worried about finding people who will want to remain involved in education, given the fact that the trustees themselves have told me that their main job and the thing that they like best is representing the community and parents' voice at the board. That function still remains.
Education Minister Paul Calandra, thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We have the full interview and extended coverage of the changes coming to Ontario school boards and what they mean for parents online at ctvnewsottawa.ca.
People are buying premium services. They're buying the premium tickets.
Well, just ahead, Air Canada says it's the biggest change to its cabin design in nearly 100 years. But how many travelers will be able to afford the luxury seats? Air Canada is introducing new cabins that it says will change passengers' air travel experience. But the question is, how much are travelers willing to pay? CTV's Quebec Bureau Chief Geneviève Beauchemin reports.
We're bringing the beauty of Canada to the sky.
Air Canada is calling it the most significant cabin redesign in its 90-year history. Passengers will catch a ride in the upgraded interiors, including the luxury of some lie-flat seats on long-haul flights. This aboard the company's new Airbus A321 XLR and Boeing 787-10 aircraft. The rollout will begin this summer, and all cabins will eventually see upgrades.
We've got 93 brand new aircraft on order. And the last time we came out with a new interior was about 10 years ago.
And the airline is borrowing from the national anthem and naming the project Glowing Hearted, leaning into Canadian themes. The comfy seat, big screens, larger overhead bins are a big investment, and the airline will no doubt need to pass on costs to travelers.
So it's not that those seats necessarily will cost more because of this, but we'll have more premium seats, which is really good for our business.
Still, it could squeeze out lower-cost seats, but analysts say the market is split between low-cost carriers and luxury brands, and Air Canada is finding its niche on some aircraft.
People are buying premium services. They're buying the premium tickets. So, I think that they're kind of figuring out that, the cattle call that we have in the back of the bus is something that they want to stay away from.
Privacy wings, big screens. Some frequent flyers say paying extra for extra luxury is the future of flying.
If you got a little bit more comfort and you're going to go that way, then yeah, that's the way you go.
Well, it just depends on what kind of budget you're on. Yeah, I can't afford first class or business.
Air Canada calls it a reimagined travel experience, and some analysts say the overhaul was long overdue. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Well, coming up, diplomacy on ice. Prime Minister Carney and the President of Finland joined the Ottawa charge for a morning skate. Jackie.
Thanks so much. Puck drop is very, very soon, Patricia. We've got some fans here. We've got Andrew. How many years season ticket holder?
27.
Love it. And we talked last year. How are you feeling about this round?
This round, it's a little tougher, but I think we could manage it with some wins here at home.
Love it. Thank you. And we also have Cassidy. You've been a fan since you were 4 years old. Who do you have a favorite player?
Cooper Foster.
All right. And do you have a message for them before they hit the ice?
Good luck, stay positive, and always get a good fight.
Love that. Thank you so much. All right. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam for the X. Let's look at here Lansdowne TD Place Arena. Current temperature is 6 degrees. And hey, the sun is shining on this wonderful evening.
Tomorrow on Your Morning Ottawa, we speak to an Ottawa councillor about a troubling increase of coyote sightings. Tune in on CTV or stream us live on Crave at 6.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Here's what's on CTV tonight. E-Talk, The Big Bang Theory, Will Trent, RJ Decker, and High Potential. Back out to the arena at TD Place for a final look at the weather. Jackie?
Well, thanks so much, Patricia. The good news is, it's not just cloudy this evening. The sun has finally come out. Sunset at 7:48 today, so get outside and enjoy the little sunshine we have. 7 degrees is our wake-up weather temperature. Yes, the chance of showers moving in, and it'll steadily move through until about noon. We are anticipating mainly cloudy skies for the rest of their Wednesday. 11 degrees the daytime high. Look at Thursday, 21 degrees the anticipated daytime high. Periods of rain really going to be moving through, very similar to what we saw today, actually. So we could see an additional 10 to 15 millimeters of rain. That's what the early forecast is showing. And as we get towards the weekend, temperatures are going to be about 18 degrees, and then things are going to start to cool. But let's enjoy the warm weather we're having, and even the energy here. A lot of the crowd has made their way to the seas. Patricia in Austin, as puck drop is at 7:05. We'll take it back to you in studio. Have a great night.
Playoff hockey in Ottawa. never out of it until you lose a game at home. So they got to win this one tonight.
Exactly. It's a big one.
We want to check in and see what our news team is working on for tonight. Austin Lee is on the desk this evening.
Yeah, thanks, Patricia. We'll obviously be watching this game. Crucial Game 3 at TD Place Arena between the 67s and the Barrie Colts. And we'll also have more on that earthquake that shook our region. CTV's Sean Varden is out gathering reaction. He will break down this afternoon's tremble later on tonight. Of course, you can get the news anytime, anywhere at ctvnewsottawa.ca. And join me tonight for CTV News at 11:30.
All right, will do. A lot of people saying that they felt this one.
Yeah.
Widespread. It's cool afterwards. Like
Yeah.
You kind of felt something, but at the time, you're wondering what is going on. You never know. Like 20 seconds seems so much longer than,
Did
than
you
it does
feel
in
it?
any other situation. I did not feel it. I was in the East End. I asked a few people if they felt it around me, and they did not either. But came back here, and people said, yes, we did.
Okay.
All right, we want to get to this quickly. The Prime Minister and Finland's president mixed diplomacy with a love of the game. They were showing off their skills on the ice ahead of a formal meeting today. So both leaders attending today's Ottawa Charge practice, running some drills, posing for photographs, signing jerseys as well. Carney also had a little quip about how he would work on his backhand before solving the world's problems during the meeting. I don't know, Austin, I don't care how good a skater you are. You're going to feel a little bit nervous skating out on the ice with the two team, the team standing in two lineups like that.
Well, hopefully they went easy on those two.
Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting. I saw a video of them running together not too long ago. Now they're out on the ice, forming a bit of a bromance.
Yeah, ran there, skating here.
Exactly.
Got a few things in common. Have a great night, everyone.